Just having a transparent moment. Today is the anniversary of my father's passing, and it's really difficult to go in and have people harp on the little things that you may have forgotten to do, or have them have to stand in the gap for people, or having to fuss at a child, or change a schedule, or have people ask you questions about petty things, when in your heart and your mind you are focused on the fact that today is the day that your dad left this earth. Welcome to the Dope AP. I am your assistant principal of the hour, Patrice, and I am so excited that you guys are here for this first episode. Today is going to be a little bit of my story so that you can get to know me. And I want you to know that things are not perfect. If you could see behind the camera, you will know that I have some areas to grow. But I believe that in education, we have to build each other up in the ways that we should go. I am celebrating Red Ribbon Week. It's really hard to say that fast for me. I'm not sure why my tongue and my lips get all caught together when I do that. But it is Red Ribbon Week, so it is put a cap on drugs. And if I took a cap off, I would have hat head. So I didn't want to do that. But it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I am wearing my pink to support. And I will have pink on hopefully all week. We will see how it goes. Tomorrow is Decades Day, so I'll probably just show my outfit on the short and hope that it goes over really well, because I haven't tried it on yet. But anyway, I am one of those assistant principals that likes to dress up and have a good time with the kids and all that, but a lot of times other things can get in the way of that. I have been an assistant principal now for 9 years. I think this is year number 9. It might be year number 8 if my calculations are off. Charges in my head, not my heart. And I'm starting the Dope AP because I believe that APs develop outstanding people every day, starting with themselves and moving on. And we have to start with ourselves and move outward, because if we do not, we're going to be part of people. I will tell you that today I did not develop myself. I know it probably looks like it, but I didn't eat today at work because I allowed so many things to get in the way of me taking a moment to take a bite of a meal. So I ended up having to wait until I got off work in order to eat. And that is not something that I would advise anybody to do, because I just got back to work from taking off 2.5 days last week. So this is your reminder to take care of yourself every single day, which I did not do today. So anyway, we are developing outstanding people every day. You'll see me looking a little bit past the camera and to the camera from time to time, because I do have a couple slides I want to talk about. I know that sounds weird, but I have to have something to guide my conversation, or I will start rambling. And I don't want to do that. So you are seeing the start to this thing that I hope is going to be a beautiful thing. I put up this wall all by myself with hot glue and command strips, and I hope it goes over well and that I'm able to add to it, to your visual pleasure, to make this aesthetically pleasing. But the words that are coming out of my mouth is what I want you to pay the most attention to. So why did I start the Dope Assistant Principal? Because like I said, we develop outstanding people every day. That is the strength of assistant principals. That's a lot of times why we were picked to go into the role, but we have to start somewhere. So let's talk about being an assistant principal. I talked a little bit about how I did not take care of myself in this whole journey of the day, but it's not like that every single day. But there are times that we come into the day and the day just gets started and we forget about ourselves. It is important for me to impress upon you to take a moment to set an alarm so that you'll eat. Create a group of people that will hold you accountable for taking care of yourself. I have 2 people in my office that say to me on a regular basis, "Did you eat?" And I'll say yes or I'll say no. Like today I said, "No, I'm headed to the cafeteria now." But when I got into the cafeteria, I needed to address behaviors. So I allowed that to take me away. I challenge you and I challenge myself to make sure that we take care of ourselves. There are so many responsibilities that come along with being an assistant principal, and we have to make sure that we don't put those things in front of ourselves. I know y'all hear the clicking in the background. That's because I'm trying to get through these slides. But in an assistant principal role, we have a tendency to be over the administrative things, the discipline management, scheduling, logistics, instructional leadership, teacher support, evaluation, and the list goes on. And then there's this thing called all other duties as assigned, which could go from the during the day things to the after school stuff, like the curriculum nights and parent teacher conferences and the fall festival, which is next week, and Halloween, which some schools celebrate, and Christmas and holidays, and making sure everybody's fit in. But who takes care of the assistant principal? I'm going to leave that there for it to marinate because a lot of times the assistant principals are the forgotten ones. There are some challenges that we also face, and those challenges compute to us taking on multiple roles, not having the ability to grab a substitute when you're gone because it's you and your team of four. And when one of y'all are down, you're just a team of three. There is nobody to come in and say, hey, let me do such and blase blase for you. You can't get that. And then you want to support your teachers while they're being disrespected or having to write lesson plans, having to make copies. There's so many things that a teacher has to do that we want to make sure we fill in the gap for. Making sure that they have at least a day of duty-free lunch, or being able to put themselves before, their opportunity to go to the bathroom before our own. Those things happen. That's why we are forgotten at times. But I want you to know that you are not alone. The Dope AP is here with you, and we're going to do this thing because APs need each other. So we're going to talk about these things on a weekly basis. I have a free call that happens every week for new APs to get on, old APs to get on. I mean, not old, but veteran APs, so that we can kind of discuss some of the things that happen in the school. I will say that becoming a new assistant principal, and this is just for my new APs, becoming a new assistant principal has some eye-opening challenges for me. That was years and years and years ago. But one of the biggest eye-openers that I had with becoming an AP was that I assumed that every single classroom was ran just like mine. I mean, I knew it wasn't perfect and to the T, but I assumed that everybody was going and making sure that their kids were taking restroom breaks because that was the directive, or that each person had instruction in small group and graduate release model where needed, and depending on the subject posted, whatever was being taught that day, they were addressing it. Now, I wasn't a perfect teacher, and I'm not a perfect assistant principal. I actually am not as good of an assistant principal this year as I have been in the past, which I feel like I'm a bit overwhelmed. So I'm trying to find a place where I can release that overwhelm. I can get with other APs and work through some things that may make this job a little bit easier. So, as I was saying, I kind of got off on a tangent, but one of the biggest things that I learned was that not everybody was doing the same thing that I was doing in their class. And now I'm in the role where I have to address it. But when you don't address those things in the building that cause problems, it kills the morale of the building, and you don't want to be the person that does that. So you have to address those little things, the big things, everything, to make sure that teachers are happy, that students are doing what they're supposed to do, students are happy, you have celebrations for your teachers, you have celebration for your students and things. So once you get that eye opener, just make sure you address those things that teachers may not be doing that could lead to a detrimental culture. Another question that I was asked was to name one thing that I've learned that I employ every day. We know it ain't lunch, because I definitely don't do that. I will say walking around with a smile. I try to employ that every single day. I try to have a smile on my face each morning that I go in, because sometimes it's hard. Just having a transparent moment. Today is the anniversary of my father's passing. And it's really difficult to go in and have people harp on the little things that you may have forgotten to do, or have them have to stand in the gap for people, or having to fuss at a child, or change a schedule, or have people ask you questions about petty things, when in your heart, in your mind, You are focused on the fact that today is the day that your dad left this earth, and things surrounding that death was not done in the best way for your heart and your mind. So you try to push it to the back burner, and you try to be as supportive as you can in all areas while you're in pain. And the expectation is that you smile. The expectation is that you come in and do the job. It's tough. And we are in a season, in a society where there's a lot of selfishness that goes on, and we're not teaching our kids to even be mindful or respectful of what's going on with other people, that empathetic piece, or even sympathy. And it's sad and it hurts, but you walk in every single day and you smile, and it's hard, but you keep going because you know that the job must still be done. You still need to get your life in order, and you still need to keep going. So the question was, name one thing you learned to employ today. Every day. I smiled all day. I cried at a moment, but then I put that smile back on my face, whether I was in pain or not, so that no one else had to endure my pain or ask me what was wrong. Because when you're sad and somebody says, "What's wrong?" you just lose it. So I have learned to employ a smile every single day. Not fake, because I dealt with my emotions. But then I said, okay, the job still has to be done. Okay? All right, moving on. What's the most important thing to remember as you step into the role of an AP? Again, these are for my new people. I would say that, and I answered this on a panel that I was on a couple weeks ago, the biggest thing to remember is that life is not about balance. Life is about harmony. And I talk about this in my wife business as well. When you live a life of harmony, you are giving each thing the time that it needs, and not the balance of giving everything the same amount of time. I hope that made sense. There were a couple questions inside of an assistant principal group that I saw that I wanted to address. And one was, how do you celebrate? So I broke that down into how I celebrate staff, how I celebrate students, and how I celebrate me. So how I celebrate students. I have purchased, and my kids don't know this yet, but I have purchased some smelly pencils and some smelly stickers. And yes, I have sixth grade, and they still like stickers, and they still like smelly pencils. I don't know what it is, but I have like 96 of them. And since I have 96 pencils, I want all of my kids to learn their shield. So they have to carry a shield with them everywhere they go. And so they don't have to like literally carry. It is a figurative shield, and there is a thing that goes with the S, the H, the letters. I don't want to get the I and the E messed up because I'm an assistant principal. You expect me to know how to spell. So they carry the shield with them, and there's an acronym. It's an acronym, and I'm going to give out the pencils to the kids who know the shield. And hopefully 96 know it, because I would love to give out 96 pencils this week. So that's one way I celebrate my kids, them being able to practice something that we do every single day and show it off. And they're going to have to say it on the microphone. And then each week when I'm there on Friday, because like I said, I have been out and we were testing the week before, but we celebrate our students in our office by having a student shield positive award party where it's just some airheads, and we play celebrate good time, celebrate good times, come on. So we play that, and we have a disco ball, and there's like a whole shindig in the office, and we make the kids feel really, really special, and it's an amazing way to celebrate the kids who are doing the right thing. Now, that's not a huge celebration. It's just a small celebration, but the kids love it. Then I read out their positive shield. I'm like, you wore your shield this week. You inspired excellence, and I just read whatever the teachers wrote about them. teachers. So as an admin team, we make sure that we celebrate our teachers every month. We have a teacher of the month, which I apologize to my teachers because they haven't had their teacher of the month put up yet, but they will have it this week, I promise. So we do a teacher of the month. We also just had a raffle for our teachers where they had a ticket, and with the ticket they got tickets for being on time, being on duty, being everywhere they needed to be, making sure the kids are online and doing those kind of things. So we gave them a ticket, and then we did not a raffle, a giveaway. I'm a Title One AP. I must know that we do not do raffles at work. We do giveaways. So we did a giveaway for them. For myself, I celebrate myself by hanging out with my husband, I guess, because he is the joy of he's part of the joy of my life. He and my two children. Sitting down with my kids, that's like a celebration to me because they each work. So sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for us all to get together. So that's a celebration in itself for me. I stopped and got myself Subway today since I did not eat at lunch, and normally I don't do that. So I stopped, got myself lunch, decided I was not going to cook. That's a celebration for me. I cleaned under the sink in the bathroom downstairs. That's a celebration for me. It's just kind of like, where do you find joy? What do you find happiness in? And I'm going to go get a massage at the end of this week because I found $130 worth of gift cards to Massage Envy that someone gave to me a while back. So I am going to go and get that done. I am so excited. And y'all, I love to dress up for like random stuff. Like I said, it's Drug Awareness Week, and boom, put a cap on drugs. And tomorrow's 90s Day. I'm just gonna do a short for that. So if you want to see it, let me know. So before I end today, let me give you guys some actionable tips, some things that you can do, that you can employ right now, every single day. Um, let's talk about some documents that I've learned since I've moved to middle school that are great to have in place, that if we don't have them already in place, it is to come, depending on when you are watching this. So documents to have in place. There is a thing called a no contact contract that I did not have in elementary school, that I wish I would have had in elementary school, because it is a county sealed document that we put in place for children who are kind of teetering on the point of having a fight, so that whoever violates that, they get into the trouble. We also have a cell phone contract that we put in place plan that we put in place to make sure our kiddos do not use their cell phones during the day. And then we have a bus contract for first time infractions for students who are on the bus that make bad decisions, and you don't want to suspend them for the bus, but they need to know that there are consequences for their actions. So we have that document in place as well. So if you do not have either of those three, a no contact contract, a cell phone contract, and a bus contract, put those in place ASAP. All right, so I talked about actionable steps for things that you can do for students. A way that we celebrate students at our school as well, I celebrate my sixth graders, is that it is my goal to learn everybody's name. Y'all, I don't know how many kids' name I know. I know all the kids who get in trouble, and I know all the kids who have come to the celebration on the Fridays. I will tell you that the ones who get in trouble, I know them very well. But I know the ones who do things that are kind of great as well. I try to get with them too. I also give out random rewards, caught doing good awards. I did with my little guys at the elementary school. I haven't done as many in the middle school, but I will work on that because that's something else that I need to employ. So we have come to the end of our journey together for this first day, and I hope that it's been advantageous for you. I hope that you learned something that you can do. I hope that the stories that I told today were meaningful and gave you some insight into life. There is a giveaway that I have going on right now on our page. If you look inside of the description, you will see that. I think it ends on like the 3rd or the 4th of next month, which is November 2023. So make sure, if you're watching this back pass, you don't sign up for it. But if you're watching in real time, make sure you check that out. You can win a subscription box for an assistant principal, or you can win a letter from an assistant principal to an assistant principal. I started off talking about how this is a forgotten position. And when I say forgotten position, I don't mean that we forget about the assistant principals. I mean, assistant principals do a lot of work. And I have been an assistant principal for 8 years, and I know a lot of assistant principals. So we want to just make sure that we are thanking the people who help the school go around, and the Dope AP is here to do that. Make sure you sign up for whatever you like and you connect with us. If you need to send me an email, if you have a question, it's info@thedopeap.com. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is